Thank you, Kayla. My name is Stephanie King. I am a volunteer team leader at North Shore Animal League America in Port Washington, New York. I'm joined tonight by my co-volunteer and friend, Gloria. She is going to hopefully jump in and correct me when I'm wrong. And or if I've missed anything, she will add in whatever I've missed. North Shore Animal League America was founded in 1944. It is the world's largest no-kill rescue and adoption organization. It was founded by Elizabeth Lewitt and her husband Alex, who started rescuing puppies out of their station wagon as they drove through the community of Port Washington. And eventually they connected with friends and neighbors and got them involved to pick up more strays and also start fundraising, and actually built a brick and mortar rescue organization or shelter. So now here, 75 years later, we have a campus of 7 buildings, a state-of-the-art veterinary hospital that has achieved a AAHA rating, which is the highest in veterinary medicine. I believe 10 to 13% of all veterinary hospitals in the country only have that accreditation. We are an innovator in creating a more sustainable world for companion animals. And we are a strong voice in the spay-neuter, and we work with children in our Muddigree program. So we coined the term Muddigree, animals that are purebreds, they call purebreds or pedigrees. So we came up with the term Muddigree. And it is just a reference to all shelter animals. So I'm going to go back up a little bit to our campus. We also have we opened, I believe it was, so we're in 2021. So the end of sometime in 2019, we opened a state-of-the-art, we added a second floor onto our original shelter, and we have a state-of-the-art feline section that is completely cage-free. So our behaviorists work with the cats and get to know what their personalities are and who likes who. And they have rooms with windowsills and scratching posts and climbing trees, and are free to come and go in their room as they please. There are no longer cages. And I'm at a loss for the word, the change in the cats, in their behaviors, and how they show, and how they just relaxed out of the cage environment. So now that they're free to roam and sit with who they want to sit with and be where they want to be, it's been life-changing for them and for us. We are taking in more felines, and we're getting more felines adopted. We are also, Kayla, can you go to the next screen? I also want to, yeah, okay. So we also have rescue partners throughout the world, and we've rescued puppies and dogs from the Korean meat market. We have rescued cats from an Egyptian organization. We actually had a dog named Blaze come from Turkey, and one of our vet techs is a retired engineer. And Blaze came with a missing front left paw. So we would have to bandage it and sock it so that he could go out and walk. And our vet tech approached our senior vet and said, I bet you between the two of us, we can make Blaze a prosthetic. And they did. And he is now happily adopted, but also has a prosthetic and is enjoying the life that he should be leading. But one of the other things that we do with our shelter partners across the country is, if there's a natural disaster, hurricanes in Florida, storms in Oklahoma, had tornadoes years ago. At our own front door, when Sandy hit here in New York, we have these very large mobile units that we accept donations, and we fill with litter boxes and litter and leashes and bowls and food. We are partnered with Purina, who is very generous to us and with our shelter partners, and we send them down filled with supplies that these areas that were hit with a natural disaster need. And then we bring them back. We empty their shelters. So animals that have been displaced and separated from their owners can stay in their shelters and hopefully get reunited with their families. We've partnered with the Cesar Millan Foundation and Yale University and created the Muddegree curriculum, which is a program for pre-K to 12th grade that links humane education and social and emotional learning to help children think about something beside themselves. We talk about bullying and being kind to each other, and then to other beings on the planet. We also have, Kayla, if you can go to the next screen. This is our history. Okay, I'm out of sync with there we go. We also have a shelter pet outreach team, which is the last thing on the list. We do pet therapy, and the dog in the picture happens to be my Harry, who was just sitting on my lap. He has been approved to be a canine ambassador for the North Shore Animal League America, and he has come with me on we've gone to fall festivals, he visits the VA on a regular basis, but we're a team of about 20 volunteers, and we visit 25 to 30 sites in a month. Or let me say, we did before the world turned upside down, but we hope, we have our fingers crossed, that we will be able to get back to what we do. So we do pet therapy. We go take puppies and kittens to the VA, to assisted living facilities, to facilities with adults that have special needs, and to a children's hospital. We have over 300 volunteers that are a combination of in shelter and foster parents that take care of our animals that are not quite ready to be on the adoption floor. Maybe they have some social issues or some physical issues that need to be taken care of. Our mission is to rescue, nurture, adopt, and educate. So we rescue animals. They come in, they are bathed, they are treated medically, they're evaluated for their behavior, and then we look to see what they need. Some are great and they're ready to go right onto the adoption floor. Others may need time to decompress and to get more medical attention. Each of the animals that are going to appear on the slides are rescues of ours. Some of them have been adopted and are in their forever home. Unfortunately, 2 of the cats that you will see have passed, but they came to us ill and stayed with us until we found them foster homes, and they passed well taken care of, well loved, and 1 or 2 at the end are still available for adoption. So let's start talking about how to take care of a senior pet. Scientists have been studying the relationship between animals and humans for years, and studies have shown what a positive effect owning and spending time with an animal has on a human being. For many owners, the relationship with their animal has begun as a puppy or a kitten, and the relationship naturally grows over time. The puppy gets to know your likes and dislikes, your moods, your habits, just as you get to know the animal's likes, dislikes, quirks, the differences in their meows or their barks. And what I'd like to do is today talk about the our responsibility as our pets age and how to care for them as they age. So when an animal becomes a senior is dependent on many things, but one of the main things, especially in dogs, is going to be size or the breed. So the larger breeds, Mastiff, Great Dane, they generally become seniors at 5 to 6 years of age. The small breeds, the Chihuahuas and the Shih Tzus, generally become seniors around 10 to 11 years of age. And the medium size, the Labradors, the Wheatons, 7 to 8 years of age is when they become a senior. So many factors going into determine, when your specific animal will turn to be a senior. Genetics, environment, um, diet. For a cat, it used to be that they became seniors around 8, 9 years of age, but now with advances in veterinary medicine and most cats nowadays, I would say, are kept indoors. That is a big thing for us when we adopt out our felines. It is a requirement that you agree to keep them indoors. This is our fabulous volunteer, Donna. She is cuddling Charlie, who he passed when he was 16, 17 years old. He was adopted out as a kitten and came back to us, unfortunately, with multiple health issues. But we were able to get him into a home where he spent his last 6 weeks in a loving home before he passed away. So as the pets age and they enter that senior phase or the next phase of life, we have to really be observant. This is Peaches. I'm sorry. she she was actually one of the cats that actually let me pet her. So Peaches has a special a place in my heart, and that was the day we celebrated her sweet 16. But we need to be really observant and pay attention to any changes going on with our animals. Are they eating the way they always eat? Has their appetite changed? Has their bowel or urine output or the number of are they gaining or losing weight? Do they walk as far as, like for a dog, are they walking as far as they usually do? Are they panting? Do they seem stressed when they're walking? Is it harder for them to get up from sitting or laying down? Are they having accidents in the house? Are they missing the litter box? Is it hard for them to get in and out of the litter box? Do they have lumps and bumps? So we may notice the change and say, okay, sadly they're getting older, but really may call for a conversation or a visit to the vet, because some of the changes may actually mean that there's a health issue going on with your animal. For both dogs and cats, I think, Kayla, we can go on to the next slide. Yeah. For both dogs and cats that are losing their eyesight, try keeping things in the house in the same place. If you have an ottoman or a chair, keep it in the same place, just so that they can navigate the house without bumping into things or limiting the things they bump into. Keep a night light on in the evening once it starts getting dark in the house. If they have lost depth perception, Gloria and I were talking about this the other day. Gloria is the mom to Frankie, who is a 13-year-old beautiful pit bull, and she has been experiencing a loss of depth perception. And Gloria was telling me what she needs to go through to get Frankie up and down the steps, because Frankie can't tell where they start or where they end. For me, my personal experience, I had an 18-pound Yorkie mix who he had many health issues, but he would walk. I have a sliding glass door and he would walk into it. So I went out and bought those like gooey decorations that you see for the holidays, but I brought the bright neon colors and put them. He was short, so I put them on the lower part of my glass door, so that hopefully it would help him see that there was something there and he wasn't walking into the door. Um, Also, if you have a pet that is losing their hearing, to try and approach them from the front so that you don't startle them. You know, they still hopefully have their eyesight that they can see you, but they can't hear you. So if you come to them from the front, then you won't startle them as much. Um, Dental hygiene, regular brushing. They make, if you've been to the pet store, they make toothpaste. You can't use toothpaste designed for human beings. It's for, they make them for canines and felines. If your animal is used to brushing, that's fabulous. I've never had a dog that I've been able to brush their teeth with a toothbrush. I've always had to put toothpaste on my finger and brush their teeth that way. My one guy doesn't like anything at all, so I get him treats and special toys that are designed for cleaning, keeping their teeth clean. Left untreated, dental disease can be very painful and can be very harmful for them. So again, if you notice a change, my dog Grace, she just turned 10, big chewer when she was young, and all of a sudden it was like she went from chewing all the time to not chewing. And we took her to the vet and he checked, gums were fine, teeth were fine. I guess she lost the desire to chew. She probably did it slowly over time, but we didn't really notice till she had completely stopped. It's just really important for them. If you notice like bad breath all of a sudden on them, it also can be the sign that maybe some gum and dental disease has begun. If your dog never really had bad breath, again, a conversation with your veterinarian. Temperature. I'm going to talk dogs for a minute. This little guy has, or she, I should say, is wearing her coat. And Bella is a puppy mill rescue that we rescued some years ago, but she has been adopted and is living in her forever home. But she's wearing a coat, and a lot of dogs in the cold weather, as they age, need to wear the coat. As they get older, instead of maybe 1 or 2 long walks during the day, you may need to do 2, 3, 4 short walks during the day. And you have to pay attention to temperature. If it's wintertime and it's really cold, maybe you have to wait till 11 or 12 o'clock in the afternoon to take the walk, and walk before it gets cold again in the evening. In the summer, you want to walk early in the morning and late at night, so that the pavement, that's really big. They can burn their pads, and it can be really dangerous to walk them in the high heat of the day. You may take their beds and move them, especially for the felines, out of drafts, and make sure that they're away from windows or any place that can be cold. If you have a warm spot that gets the sun, maybe add beds in. The morning sun comes into one room in the house, and then the afternoon sun comes in at another spot in the house. One of the big problems that older animals or senior animals experience is arthritis. It is tied into diet and exercise for all animals. So when an easy run becomes a stiff walk, when it's hard for them to jump onto their favorite spot, I'm assuming that you allow them on furniture in the house, but when it becomes hard for them to jump up or down, when getting off the floor comes with a moan or a groan, it's the culprit is generally arthritis. So again, a time to talk to your vet. Sometimes they add supplements even before that happens. I know that I've talked to mine, and he's a big believer in glucosamine chondroitin. But he also, when my little guy, my dog Toby, the one that I put the stickers on the door for, he by the time he was 7, he had 2 back surgeries and a knee surgery. So by the time he was 7.5, 8, he was full of arthritis. So we had supplements, we had changed his food, we really were very strict with his diet. But we also did acupuncture and Reiki with him. And that was, the acupuncture was really tremendous in relieving his discomfort and his pain. And one of the things that North Shore has done, and it happened right before COVID hit, so I don't know if it's up and running again, but our wellness center, we have two really wonderful treatments for dogs. We have water therapy, so we have a treadmill in a pool of water. So the exercise is really not damaging to joints. And we also have veterinarians who are, or at least one who is licensed in acupuncture. So it really is a wonderful thing. And I know firsthand that it was very helpful for Toby. It really alleviated a lot of his pain. But things to consider, change their bedding, make sure it's thick and padded, make sure that if you don't, and this may be a little hard, you may have to work on that. If I have steps, doggy steps, there's a step to my couch in the den, there are steps to my couch in the living room, there are steps to my daughter's bed, and steps to our bed in the master bedroom. And it took a little bit, but they now know anytime up or down, it's using the steps, they're not jumping. For cats, you may consider with litter boxes twofold: reducing the height. It may be hard for them to climb in and out, so maybe you need to get something that's shorter and easier for them to get in and out. Someone pointed out to me that if you start noticing a cat having a bowel movement outside of the litter box, it may be because they have trouble getting into it. I don't, it's always a possibility. Also, maybe consider, if you have multiple levels in your home and your cat is used to going up and down, keeping litter boxes on all different levels, so it reduces the number of times they have to go up and down. And also increase food bowls for them, water and food on the different levels along with the litter boxes. Also, raising food and water bowls. You don't have to go out and buy, the raised. I just got boxes. I get so much stuff from Amazon. You just put a box underneath, and this way they're not bending down as far to drink or eat. And it makes it easier on the neck and the spine as they're eating and drinking. You may need, they make all types of ramps also, or steps to get in and out of the car. If you have a little cat that you put into a carrier to take to the vet, very different from a 75, 100-pound dog that I wouldn't be able to lift if I was getting, my one dog's 45 pounds, I'm getting to the point where it's hard for me to lift her in and out of the car. So there are all types of ramps and steps to make it easier, again, in and out of the car, in and out of furniture for them. Diet, we all know, less weight, less pain on joints. The thing with animals, though, you need to change their food slowly. And if you walk into a pet store, there are so many different brands nowadays that have different claims to different, grain-free, meat-free, senior formula, gluten-free. It's mind-boggling. Again, a conversation with your vet to talk about what the specific needs for your animal are, and really important to keep their weight under control to reduce the stress or the pain on their joints. With I imagine it was the same with cats. I have to be honest with you. I am really, really a dog person. I have learned a lot more about cats with my time in the shelter. But I know with dogs, when you introduce a new food, it's, you know, a little bit of the new food mixed in the old, and you slowly increase the new while decreasing the old. So it eventually becomes 100% of the old, but you do it over a course of days, a week, 2 weeks, even if you have to, so that the dog's stomach adjusts to the new food. To do it drastically, you're asking for a lot of intestinal and stomach issues, um, possible, diarrhea issues. If you notice that you're on, and there's been no change to the diet, and you've noticed now incontinence in your pet, again, it might be time to sit and talk to the vet. If it's age and they've just really have issues controlling their bowels and their urine, there are doggy diapers available, which can be expensive at the pet store. My girlfriend goes to CVS or the Drain Reed and just buys. She has a very large dog, so she buys the adult size diaper and then just cuts a hole for his tail to go through. But whatever works. The important thing is that he. You might also include wee pads in different spots around the house. Maybe expand the area under the litter boxes with wee pads in case the feline is having issues missing the litter box. Exercise is important, keeping the joints moving. Again, a conversation with your veterinarian, but short walks. If you didn't walk a mile when he was or she was younger, you're not walking the mile now. 2, 3, 4 walks a day versus one long walk. Maybe tossing the ball a little bit, or with a cat, the wand toys, just to keep them moving. Anything to just make sure that they're getting up and they're moving the joints and keeping them going. I read an article about dementia in pets, and it was very scientific and very long and too difficult to go through, but they do believe that animals can, just like humans, get dementia. They say to pay attention to certain, if you notice that your animal seems to be depressed, if it's circling, if it's whimpering more than usual, if it's moaning, if you know that there's nothing physically wrong with them, yet there's the moaning, the whimpering, even the growling can be a symptom of dementia. My little dog that I spoke of earlier really seemed to have it all, but he would get lost in the yard and we'd have to go out. You could see him, you would see it in his eyes that he just wasn't sure where he was. Or we have a chair at the front window that he would always go around to look out the window in the living room, and we'd hear him whimpering, and he didn't know how to he'd get stuck in the corner and didn't know how to make the turn to come around. So these are all things to keep a lookout for. Many behaviorists and veterinarians have, when someone says, I have a senior and I'm thinking about getting a puppy or a kitten, it's going to rejuvenate them, it's going to bring the young animal back out in them. And Not really a good idea. A senior does not want a baby climbing on them, biting them, nipping at them. They're disruptive to their sleep and wake cycles. They're disruptive to their um, feeding schedules. And we, as their owners, tend to focus more on the baby and the new puppy or kitten coming in than on the senior. So think long and hard if you have an adult in your home or a senior in your home before you bring in the new baby. It might be better to wait for a future time to bring in um, a new a new baby animal. And seniorize your home. We did it when we had puppies and kittens. You puppy proofed, you kitten proofed, you tied up the wires, you kept things up off the floor. So for a senior, multiple water and food bowls down. Or if you're having continence and an animal has a hard time holding on to their urine, if you can, you pick the water bowl up at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, whatever works for you and for the animal. Keep furniture in the same place. Try not to leave things in the way so that they know the path from their bed to the kitchen or their bed to your room or where you congregate as a family. And put steps so that they can get onto the windowsill or onto the couch. Um, just make it accommodating for them for what stage they are in this point in their lives. As they age, it may come where you do have to spend more time with the vet and have more discussions. Early detection of certain diseases um, will help. As early detection of diseases that come on as the dog ages, hip dysplasia in the larger dog breeds, um, diabetes, and cancer can be treated if caught earlier. Again, my little guy started drinking more water. He ended up being diagnosed with diabetes. We should have noticed sooner because Grace, my beagle mix, would smell him every day. She knew he smelled differently. We didn't catch on till really he started really drinking a tremendous amount of water. But if we'd really paid attention, we would have known something was up because Grace would sniff him head to toe every morning. And I would say to her, Grace, it's the same Toby that you smell every day. But he smelled different to her. So she knew way before we did that something was wrong with him. But when it comes to illnesses like cancer, the treatment, it's a very personal decision. Treatment can be expensive, treatment can be long. Is it will it extend? How long will it extend your animal's life? Will it reduce or relieve any pain? And the expense. All things that are a personal decision that's up to each owner, but things to consider and discuss with um, your your veterinarian. Older dogs and cats like routine. They like predictable days. It's reassuring for them. And you see it even when they're younger. They like routine. We take a walk at 9, breakfast is at 7, dinner's at 5. We toss the ball, in the middle of the day. My dogs know that when my husband puts his fork down at the dinner table, they're on alert because we're going for a walk after dinner. Um, it makes them feel, they've just picked up the routine of the family. Um, Love and patience is what they need the most at this time. My best advice to everyone is to watch them carefully. You know them really well. You know their quirks and what they like and they dislike. And you see the changes in them. And the ultimate decision that we all must make for them is when we help them cross that rainbow bridge. And again, a very personal decision. I just like to remind people that that decision is based on what's best for them, not for us. It is very hard for us to let them go. I tear up just even talking about that. But it's part of the responsibility that we took on when we brought them into our homes. So does anyone have any questions? We call our seniors sophisticated seniors. They tend to have better manners. They're generally housebroken. They are calmer, less energetic, prone to be better behaved and get into less mischief, as we say here on the slide. You know their size. You know their temperament. They are, I don't necessarily would say that they're effortless relaxation, but they tend to know their basic commands. They're housebroken. They are more in line with where we are now if you're a senior in our lives. When we adopted our Grace, who is now 10, my daughter was home from college for the weekend, and circumstances brought us to the shelter, and I acquiesced, and we brought Gracie home, who she was 8-9 weeks at the time. And my daughter went back to school, and I'm the one up with her at 2 a.m. because puppies don't sleep through the night, just like babies don't sleep through the night. And I remember just sitting there saying, oh my God, I'm too old for this. What was I thinking? So you don't have that issue when you adopt a little bit older of a pet. The 5-pound puppy that everyone told you is going to be, no more than 40, 45 pounds, turns into an 80-pound mixture. You don't have that anymore. And sometimes, unfortunately, senior pets are overlooked at the shelter, and they deserve to spend their golden years in a home with people that love them and respect them, and not in a cage or in a run. It is really a wonderful thing to be able to bring a senior into your home. So the last thing is, Kayla, if you can go to the very last slide. We have a Senior for Seniors program. I don't know if you can read it, it's kind of small. But if the human is 60 or older, and you adopt a dog that is 4 years old or older, or a cat that is 8 years or older, you have all these benefits. The adoption fee is reduced to $50. There is a $15 grooming fee twice per year. You get 10% off our supply store. And the real big savings really comes in the medical benefits at our facility in Port Washington. So there are all kinds of discounts. The core vaccinations are free, and it's a 10% discount off other vaccinations. You get wellness exams. I think they're 2 per year. Free, the annual blood tests and urine tests that are performed are free, and 10 or 15% off all other exams that are done, and 10% off all. So you see, I don't need to go through the whole thing, but it really is a wonderful program if you're interested in adopting a senior. So it's been a pleasure talking with all of you. Our website is animalleague.org, and we have all types of, we show our animals that are available for adoption, number one. We have links to all different types of programs that we offer. We have, like I said, state-of-the-art medical center. We also have behaviors, both canine and feline, that are available to answer any type of questions that you could possibly have. We have a wonderful foster program that for both feline and canine, if you're willing to open your doors and provide a temporary home to an animal that needs, whether it be physical or behavioral help before they're available for adoption. We have a whole host of volunteer opportunities. I do pet therapy. Gloria works with our foster care program. And also we both do our offsite events. I don't know if you've ever noticed our mobile units in the neighborhood where we take cats and dogs and puppies and kittens um, to communities, and people can come on to, instead of coming to us to adopt, they can come locally to the community. And that events calendar is on our website. So I hope you learned a little bit today, and I'm very grateful that you all joined. Yeah, this is Lilo. She is still available for adoption. I shouldn't say still, she hasn't been with us that long, but she had spent some time in a foster family. She needed to decompress a little. And she's now spends most of her days with our wonderful grooming ladies. And I have not had the pleasure of meeting her yet, but I understand she is actually absolutely lovely. Our website is animalleague.org. If you type in, just do a Google search for North Shore Animal League America, it should link you also to our website. Yeah, thank you. That is it.
Good. There you go.
Stephanie, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are you familiar with the use of like CBD oil for pets who have like arthritis?
Personally, yes. My Grace is a high anxiety animal, and I've used, with my vet's recommendation, I have used CBD oil for her, and in her case, it really did not do much, but he recommended it, and he said that he has seen some positive results with it. In my particular case, unfortunately, it didn't really help Grace much at all.
Okay, thanks. And I
Okay.
also had a staff member ask, her dog's getting up there, it's about 15. It's a golden retriever. And well, he's the one that has the arthritis problems too. She wants to know, like, when is you know that it's time to, put your animal down.
You know, that is a really, really tough question. When you think their quality of life is really very poor, and it is definitely absolutely 100% a discussion you need to have with your vet. It If I have said to mine, in one case with my one girl, and we were talking about treatment, and I said to him, "You've always been 100% honest with me before. Now is not the time to lie to me. Is it time?" And he said, "Yes, it is." And we, as a family, decided then it was time. So it really, again, it's individual and personal, but I think it really deserves a conversation with the vet. Is there other things that can be done to alleviate the pain, and to give the animal a quality of life? If there isn't, then maybe it is time to help them cross. But it is a conversation with the vet. Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
There is, I live on the South Shore in Merrick. There is a canine acupuncturist. I don't know if she does feline. She definitely does canines in Wantagh that is, I've heard wonderful, wonderful things about, that does canine acupuncture, that really has, in the past, had helped my little guy.
Is that expensive?
Um, it can be, he was 18 pounds. I think she goes by small, medium, and large. And it was years ago, so I don't know what her fee has gone to at this point. I don't even know, it's been over a year since I even heard anyone speak of her. So I don't even know if she's still in practice with everything that's happened in the world.
Right.
But it may be something to look into.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Does
But
anybody else have any other questions before we wrap up?
I have a
There's a lot of
question.
sure.
So we basically took over 4 dogs that belonged to like family members who weren't really, my husband and I was, when I say we, and the dogs weren't really cared for in the best way really at all.
Wow.
So we kind of took them over. They're like our children. They're absolutely our
sure.
children. But like vet care, that's the thing that's difficult because it's 4 dogs all at once.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you know of an organization or anything, or if your organization does it where it's really affordable vet care. I don't even know if there's any type of free vet care out there.
For us, for I, our veterinarian, our medical center is definitely much more reasonable than a lot of private veterinarians. The problem is we're in Port Washington. I don't know how far you're willing to travel, but yes, our vet care is definitely much more reasonable. It may also have you had a conversation with a local vet, and maybe you can talk to him and say, look, I've got 4. Could we talk something about, maybe a financial consideration to, you did a mitzvah, you did a wonderful thing taking in these 4 animals. I would imagine that a veterinarian might be able to work with you financially to make sure that they do receive the care that they deserve. Oh my goodness. Hey, I'm sorry. I really apologize. You could actually possibly even call us and start by talking to our customer service department and see if what they can do for you. And yes, I see, if everyone looks on the bottom, that Kathleen has said that Petco has reasonable vet care. You gotta stop, Harry. That might also be a consideration.
Mm-hmm. And what about in terms of, I know that like a lot of, because I looked a lot into it, I know that insurance companies really work with pre-existing conditions and stuff. Do you know of any insurance companies that are really well for dogs or for pets?
We have a relationship with, Gloria, remind me, who do we have a relationship with?
You know what? I blanked. I don't.
Um, I will make a phone call tomorrow, and if there's a way I can get in touch with you, I could either leave the information with Kayla,
Sure.
or because we do have a relationship with a pet insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I can't think of the name at all. I'm very sorry.
I don't either. Stephanie, can I just mention something you had said, talked about foster care? This obviously won't help the person who just called in because she has privately made a foster, but North Shore has a foster. For those of you who are concerned about taking in an animal that might have a medical or behavior condition and the cost, we have a very large foster program for, it can be a few weeks to a lifetime foster for seriously medically compromised animals. However, you have to apply from our website, and every single thing is covered. There are no costs whatsoever when you have all the food, all the crates, all, as long as you use our vets, which you are required to, all of the, anything animal would need is covered by North Shore. So those of you who are thinking about, maybe I'd like to have an animal, but I don't want to take on the expense, foster care is one way to do it. So you'd have to go on our website, Google part of it, or search for foster care and apply, and I'll probably be the one interviewing you anyway. But you know, there is no cost whatsoever to our foster care program.
Also, if you call our customer service number, they will be able to, if I can't get in touch with you, they will be able to tell you the insurance company that we have a relationship with.
Okay, and I'd be able to find that on the website?
Not sure.
Yeah, not sure. I'm sorry.
No worries, I could probably find it like somewhere online.
Yeah, but my email address is, oh, I can type it in, can I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. LEK. So if you want to, email me just something simple like, Stephanie, you know, find out about pet insurance, and I will find out and email you back.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I was really looking forward to this because we have a senior guy, we have a guy who just a little while ago was no longer a puppy, and it's they're a whole bunch, and like slowly we've been training them, but
You really, those dogs hit the jackpot with you. I have two, and I know how much work that can be. I can't imagine with four. So you did a good thing, and we will do our best to help you get whatever we can.
yeah, thank you so much. And I'll
Right.
definitely, I have your email, so I appreciate
Right.
that, Emma.
Great. Okay. Well, you have a wonderful program. I think we did. Kayla, did you do in the spring or in the fall, like a festival where you have tables and vendors and people from the community at the library?
For something specific?
No, just like an outdoor. I think we were by you a couple of years ago. Maybe it was a pet thing.
Yeah, I was thinking we've had a by the way adoption event before. And then I think we had one planned, but then COVID hit, of
Yeah.
course. So I don't know if they were trying to do a virtual one but yeah, we have been we've had things like that before, and I'm sure we will again in the future.
And just listening to all the programs that you do, it's really you, you guys do a great job. So thank you for having us tonight, and I hope that we were helpful, or I was helpful a little bit, and it was a pleasure.
Great. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Like I said, the program was recorded. So in a few days, we'll have it up on our library's YouTube channel. So if you want to review some stuff, you'll be able to do that. We're getting some thanks in the chat, lots of information, definitely. And we appreciate you all. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Thanks so much.